right, so let's close our parameters windows out and move into our fuel tables. So taking a look, we're going to have our tabs here. Our 1 is going to designate that we have our low cam. Our table 2 here is going to designate our high cam. And we'll find here we have a little spark icon. This is going to be our spark timing for the low cam, spark timing for the high cam. Fuel for the low cam, fuel for the high cam. We also have our variable cam tables here that aren't going to be relevant, and then we'll find here that any variable cam control that we would have had here otherwise, normally this would drop down here. We could select different variable cam degrees for our mapping. So we have a pairing for 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 degree VTC movement for fuel and ignition timing. We're not going to have that on S2000. We don't have variable cam. One thing I'm going to do right off the bat here, jump into our variable cam tables, we can see we have some values that are populated. Because we've disabled the VTC, jumping in here real quick under parameters in this S2000 specific file, the box right here, VTC enable, has already been checked off. We'll find once that checks off, we'll find that we can't access any of our tables here. It's blocking us out. So I'm going to go and jump into my table here. I'm just going to zero out my variable cam table, just so it's zeroed out for consistency's sake. It's not going to do anything if you have values in there, but I just like to go ahead and zero it out. All right, so that's going to be zeroed. So let's jump in here into our fuel table and start to talk about this. So the first thing we need to do is linearize our tables. Now, we covered how to do this in the last live training video with the Kraftwerk Supercharged S2000. We're just going to go through it real quick again, run through the same process, go into options here. Let's go to show any tables. That's going to expose the tables here and allow us to build out our idle and part throttle. Then we can go and carry those into our boosted portions of operation. So taking a look at our tables here, the two-dimensional values in our table are pretty linear. If we're kind of taking a look at our lines here, there's not a lot of dips and peaks, but I'm going to go and linearize this a little bit further. So I'm going to grab my data point right about here. We can see we're right about 1800, and then my highest point right about, taking a look about, right about here. If we click on this, it's going to be at 5900. So we're going to go between these two. We're going to do Control P. We can see it's going to be essentially drawing a straight line. And in fact, we probably could go all the way down here and do a straight line, Control P. So we're going to go bump that up, and let's also go ahead and just bump this up here and just linearize this section here. I'm just using Control I. That's going to be increasing and just trying to smooth out manually our table a little bit here. We can see on the top end it drops off. So let's go ahead and just manually smooth that out. Now the reason why we want to spend a little bit of time here on this particular point of operation, which is going to be our column 10, which is 0 psi, is because we're going to copy and paste this back to the table and build our entire table out based on this column. So we want to make sure that this is kind of our building block for our fuel table here. We want to kind of get things linear. So now we can kind of take a look at the line here compared to the rest of the lines, and it's a lot more linear. Now we want to linearize our fuel tables because when we make our changes, we're going to be making them across our rows here. So I'm going to be editing and going and copying across the columns, but then when I make my editing changes, I'll make them across the rows. You'll see that process, how it's going to go. We are going to be using closed loop to be able to do our tuning process with. It's going to be speeding things up, so you'll see how that's going to go in the next video. But let's take our column 10 right now. Let's copy it, Control C. Let's paste it into column 9. Now we're going to.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.